accidental leaks. Now, I made a video on something like this a while ago. It was on a touring car race, or a touring bike race, where they accidentally included a touring bike that wasn't in the game. The KTM Duke, I believe, in touring car. They accidentally added it to the game, but it wasn't actually in the game. You couldn't buy it, you can play with it. And this one is like that, but it's slightly different. So I'm going to be going into this, and this is quite interesting because it's a JDM car that we don't actually have in the game yet. And it seems to have been exposed here on a JDM Summit Day. See, I discovered this with a little help from my chat on the first day that this trailer came out. And yes, it's through a trailer. And it's actually quite interesting. But there's one thing about how this has happened that I want to talk about. There's a very similar situation that I think puts this situation in some very good context. So, what's going on? My name is Sid. Welcome back to the channel. And head down there, subscribe with notifications on. It'd be very much appreciated. Honestly, the best thing you can do is just check out some of my other content after this video. It'll be in your recommended. Just check it out after this one. So, this begins way back with the handling update, where I did a video showing the new handling that had been added to 3 rallycross cars. The Skyline, you can see the comparison here. Just turn so much better. And I think the whole thing is that before, when you would drift in one of the old handlings, when you would drift, the thing would get to the point. The Skyline, we then went on to also have the Mustang, which I will get to and jump to. You know, the thumbnail vehicle that I used. And this handling model was pretty damn cool. I enjoyed getting it and I loved playing with it. And I even got an early access look, a 1 week early look at the handling before anyone else did. So I put together this comparison video. And I also looked at the third and final vehicle added, the Focus RS. This had a new handling model. In fact, just to really prove that, let's take a look at some of this handling. You can see going around this turn, although I'm sliding on the one on the right, I keep speed and manage to come out of the turn. On the one on the left, I'm just going so much slower and sluggish through turns. Again, there, I've slid there for no reason. There on the right, I'm able to balance the drift through the turn, where on the left, I really get sluggish through the turns. So, as a matter of proof, this is a car that had its handling updated. The Focus RS had its handling updated and was a new changed vehicle. In fact, you could see this here as well, where the Crew 2 Season 5 American Legend patch notes. You can see the context, etc., the gameplay impact, the first steps. And that is American Legends. We plan on starting to look into one of the affected vehicle categories, Rallycross. With the release of Season 5, we are going to update the handling of 3 cars. The Skyline, the Camaro SS, and the Focus RS. We saw this in the Year 5 trailer as well, where they brought this up, and in the patch notes you can even see, right at around here, 3C/handling, updated handling models on the following rallycross vehicles: the Nissan Skyline GTR, the Ford Focus RS. And the Crew 2 did even go on to tweet about this, about the handling, the 60 FPS, all of the big things from American Legends to Season 6. And that was here. This, you can see weather and color grading, 60 FPS, quality of life changes, handling modifications, but what is that? They seem to have gotten the wrong Focus. I missed the button. They put the Focus RS-RX. You can see right there, RS-RX, the name of that version of the Focus. Not the RS as it's listed here and earlier up there. Not the RS as it is in the game here, but instead the RS-RX in this single image. This caused a lot of people to come to me and say, Sid, you used the wrong car. I didn't use the wrong car. The designer of this bit of media used the wrong car. And that's a big thing. How would something like this happen? In my head, and this is a complete theory, a bit of a game theory. In my head, the only way I can imagine this happened, right? So, it goes into studio. Hey fellas, we're gonna add 3 updated rallycross handling cars this update. Okay, time to send this out to the different departments. Hey, we're gonna need an image to show the quality of life changes. Okay, hey handling changing department, could we get the 3 cars that you're gonna be updating? Sure. The Camaro, the Skyline, and the Focus. Now, these aren't exact quotes, but paraphrasing and assuming that's what happened. Is someone said the Focus, the Camaro, and the Skyline, and whoever designed this piece of media just took the newest of all 3 of those vehicles. And I think that is where the misstep happened. A miscommunication between one department to the other department. That's the only way I can imagine something like this going on. I just realized that the 110 and the EV110 are there, and these 2 are here. That's actually very cool. I didn't notice that before. But there you go. That's how I think this mess up happened. A miscommunication. Now, there's something that is very, very similar. See, these aren't new leaked JDM cars. Instead, for that, we look at the Japan Bits trailer. So let's get a look at this, and we'll see if you notice anything. See, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't notice that. It was brought up to me in chat. I think it was one chat that said, is that the Nismo GTR? And instantly, I went into Detective Sid mode. And other people have made videos on these because I made a post about this before. And, you know, I broke this news story, basically. And that is this thing right here. Because that isn't the GTR we know in the game. Instead, as you can see here, there's a couple of things wrong with it. You can see right there that this thing has, 1, a very interesting kit on it, a Nismo kit. Now, bear in mind, this Honda Civic is bone stock. This Red Fury is bone stock. So, like the Nismo in the Crew 2, why would this one have modifications on it to put it on the Nismo body kit? Because this isn't the stock version of the GTR, no, you have to modify this to get it to the Nismo version. Another thing is you can see the black rims. On top of the black rims, there's something else there, but you can see blacked out rims. And not only that, but right here you can see that the car has a vent on the fender. Now, this seems small, this seems pointless for me to be bringing up, but that vent on the fender means some pretty big things. This is our GTR in the Crew 2. This is the GTR from 2015, just called the Nissan GTR, as you can see. Now, when I go to customize this thing, we can first go to rims. GTR is an interesting car in this game because you are only able to put on the stock selection of rims. Nothing else, nothing outside of these 3 rims. These are the only ones you're able to equip on this vehicle. So already something is off. Next, you can see that we can max this thing out to a Nismo body kit. But you can see at the back, and Nismo. There it is. Can we get any other Nismo ones? Yes, we can. The Nismo kit, which we'll take off from the front because you can see no matter which option you go with, this thing does not have the vent on the fender. Meaning this thing in the trailer is not this GTR. Instead, you want to know a car with blacked out rims, a Nismo body kit on stock, and vents on the fenders, and the same stock spoiler? Well, that would be the Nissan GTR Nismo 2020. Yes, it's not some wild JDM edition, it's not the Supra, it's not the Biozzi, it's nothing crazy, but I can confirm that this is most definitely, just from looking at it, the 2020, 5 years newer Nismo as stock GTR. Now, how does something like this even happen? It seems that if they're planning to add this car, it must already be in the internal version of the game. So what I can assume is that whoever made this trailer, either when storyboarding it, you know, the storyboard team gives it to the filming team, and they go, hey, use the GTR, use the Honda Civic, and use the Evo. And they went with the Red Fury, the Honda Civic, which is the most ugliest car in the world, the GTR. But not any GTR, the GTR that they had on their own back end. And that's how I think something like this happened. Either that, or it was just one guy who was like, okay, I need to make a trailer, and he just doesn't play the game or is updated to the game enough. A similar things happen in Apex Legends. In Apex Legends, they end up using guns that aren't in the game, or completely different versions of guns in the trailers. Clearly, the internal team, one, isn't, and do they have to be, but isn't much involved with the game being updated in the current time. And two, I don't really know what I meant for two, but I've already forgotten. I guess, I mean, there's one real easy fix. I suppose internally, if they just had like a list of cars that are in the internal version, but aren't added to the game yet. I don't know, it's complicated. And I don't expect them to do this, because if they do, then I get less Detective Sid things where I can do stuff like this, you know. I've done a few of these, you know. We sleuthed out the Duke. I talked about a similar thing with the 3000 GT, and we sleuthed out this as well. So, I do hope you boys did enjoy this video, because I enjoyed making it. Thank you to popular members, a special thank you to famous members, and an insane thank you to Icon member Dustin for the love of life. That's about it from me in a... oh, pardon me. In a bit.